Good morning, America. Good morning, world. Good morning, Farmington, New Mexico. We are Fellowship of Spirit, and we are pleased to be here. A little shy on people, but we're still alive and well.
Our people aren't shy, though.
No, we're not shy. Our mission statement is to positively affect our world by extending peace, love, spirituality, understanding, and friendship to all people with grace and gratitude. Our vision is to be a spiritual center of awakening the I Am Christ consciousness, and membership is open to all. We've had an interesting week. We've had a little bit of rain. We've had a lot of wind. And we took, I don't know, how many books would you say? 600? 500, 600 books over to a bookstore that Glenn donated, and the bookstore was thrilled to get them. And it took us quite a while to get them all gathered up and boxed up and taken over there, but all went well yesterday, and they were glad to get the books. And Glenn was very glad to get rid of them. So we did a good thing this week. I'm glad to see Susan and Travis are here. And I guess we will have a prelude, number 122 in the Brown Book, Love is the Answer by Shay Johnson. Who's that?
Mark showed it.
Really?
Oh, well, hi, Mark.
Welcome,
Hi.
Mark.
Thank you.
Good to see your smiling face. I don't always look at the TV, so I don't always see who's up there, but welcome. And we have Shay, Love is the Answer. Kate, you want to move the camera?
Love, love, love is the answer. Love is the answer. Love is the way. Love, love, love is the answer. Love is the answer. Love is the way. Joy, joy, joy is the answer. Joy is the answer. Joy is the way. Joy, joy, joy is the answer. Joy is the answer. Joy is the way.
Beautiful. Thank you. An easy way to remember that. Okay, and we have our we have our opening prayer by Susan in Belize. Welcome, Susan.
You're muted, Susan.
I was muted. So, well, it's good to be here and to be unmuted. But we've had some rain here too, which has been very nice. And I always think, well, that's kind of a blessing. Every raindrop is a blessing to the earth. So let us take a deep breath. Close your eyes and feel all of those blessings coming down into your body, down through all of your chakras, opening yourself up to all the love, the health that you could possibly hold. Mother, Father, God, Creator of all, we give thanks for this day, for all the wonderful blessings that you have brought, and knowing that some of those blessings are things leaving our lives as well as things coming into our lives. That we can empty ourselves of things no longer needed so that we can fill ourselves and our lives with all the love, the kindness, and compassion that is yours to give. We give thanks for our health, for all of the good foods that we have, for our good friends, for family, for all of those wonderful things that help to make our lives a blessing, not just to ourselves, but to each and every person that we touch, that we can take the light that our Creator gives to us and share it with everyone around us.
Don't.
And so
Okay.
now we give thanks for this opportunity to be together, to hear a wonderful message, and to feel that love emanating from each of our hearts. For these things, we truly give thanks. Namaste.
Namaste. Okay, thank you, Susan. We have a song, number 209 in the Brown Book, Let There Be Unity.
Let there be unity
switch it?
in all the world today. Let it be known that God alone can show the way. Let there be truth in all the hearts of men, for truth will make them free. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin in me. Let there be unity in all the world today. Let there be love in everything I do and say. Yes, let there be unity. Let it last through eternity, and let there be unity in me. Let there be unity in all the world today. Let it be known that God alone can show the way. Let there be truth in all the hearts of men, for truth will make them free. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin in me. Let there be unity in all the world today. Let there be love in everything I do and say. Yes, let there be unity. Let it last through eternity, and let there be unity in me.
That was pretty, huh, Jack? That was pretty. Thank you, Shay. We have a helper in this fellowship today, a little white dog who loves everybody. He loves Shay, he loves Steve, he loves Kate, he even likes me. Okay. If you will read with me our reflective moment. Love produces a flow of energy that I now feel. I love others more than ever, and I feel privileged to be here. Love flows from one person to another as we create an atmosphere of holiness. And so it is. And we're going to welcome Kate up here, I think Kate and Steve both, for spiritual energy treatment. And I would like to tell you that, welcome, that Bill Clark had sent along thank yous and well wishes and appreciation for all the prayers and the energy treatment that he's received. He is home now, and he is recuperating beautifully. I mean, it's amazing how fast this man is getting better. It really is. So we will turn the microphone over to Kate or Steve.
All right. Thank you. I think you need to.
Yeah,
Okay. I hope you can stand.
do this. Require special setup here. I can't really hold it and do what I'm doing, but I know what to do. Okay. So good morning, everybody. We are ready to do our spiritual energy treatment. Kate's going to play the singing bowls, and I'm going to lead us in some elementary Qigong. First of all, I want to mention that we have Braden here. Thank you, Braden, for coming. It's a pleasure to have you. And in the name of that, I'm going to do a little oxygen augmented Qigong. This is called Gentle Bell. And I invite you to stand up and do this just to get the feel of it. And it's like those little toy drums, gentle drums, that you see from China with a little stick. You go like this with them, and it swings the thing around and hits the drums. And this is an elementary move in Qigong. And what it does is it wakes up the energy in us. It's good to do this exercise from 10 seconds to 1 hour or so. Right, yes. It actually has been increasing my oxygen intake, so very pleased to report. It's part of my healing. That's an introduction to that. The next one we're going to do is standing tree. And that is just with feet shoulder apart, just standing, facing forward, relaxed, knees slightly ajar, hip slightly forward, kind of like you're slightly sprung. You're a standing tree. And this is where we feel the chi that we have awakened. We feel it flowing up from our feet like our feet are roots in the ground, coming up through the center of our core, and then like our arms are branches going down to the leaves of our fingers. This can be a challenging pose for a lot of people, especially us older folks that are challenged by balance. So it's a very good one to pursue. And the next exercise we're going to learn, the last exercise, is called waterfall. And with waterfall, we go ahead and shake ourselves a little loose from doing our standing tree, and then we take our pose, and we take our hands and go like this. Reach up, and then we bring them down like a waterfall in front of us. And then back up, and a waterfall. Kate likes to go, shh. And I like to hum. to go back to swinging drums. And this is going to conclude my introduction to how three exercises with Qigong, and there you've got a complete routine. If you do that for a half an hour or so, you'll be amazed at how, number one, the Qi flows. You start to understand and feel the Qi flowing through your body. Number two, your life will get brighter. And number three, you're going to get addicted to it, which is a good thing. So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome. Oh, yeah, you want this too. Get it out of there.
So we love these treatments that you and Kate give us, and I think the singing bowls are absolutely amazing. They give such a wonderful vibration to the room, and I think that you can feel the tones in them, in your bones, in your blood. I just think it's a wonderful feeling that we get. But thank you very much for the healing treatment and the spiritual energy. Okay, do you have a spiritual reading or not?
Kate does.
Well, she's outside with the dog, so let me see if I can find one here. Okay. Praise and blame are all the same. One of the most unavoidable life lessons is having to deal with the disapproval of others. Praise and blame are all the same as a fancy way of reminding yourself of the old cliche that you'll never be able to please all the people all the time. Even in a landslide election, victory is in which a candidate secures 55% of the vote. He or she is left with 43% of the population that wishes someone else would be the winner. Pretty humbling, isn't it? Our approval rating from family, friends, and the people that we work with isn't likely to be much higher. The truth is, everyone has their own set of ideas with which to evaluate life, and our ideas don't always match those of other people. For some reason, however, most of us struggle against the inevitable fact. We get angry, hurt, or otherwise frustrated when people reject our ideas, tell us no, or give us some other form of disapproval. The sooner we accept the inevitable dilemma of not being able to win the approval of everyone we meet, the easier our lives will become. When you expect to be dished out of your share of dish out your share of disapproval instead of struggling against the fact, you'll develop a helpful perspective to assist your life journey. Rather than feeling rejected by disapproval, you can remind yourself, here it is again, that's okay. You can learn to be pleasantly surprised, even grateful when you receive the approval you were hoping for. And that's some word of wisdom from Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, it's all small stuff.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, thank you. And we have a song, number 126, A Vision, in our brown book.
In moments rare there comes to me a vision unexpected. I clearly see within my soul a universe reflected. I am a part of all that's good. I feel I know no limit. The God in all stands for so clear. No fancied ill can dim it. No matter what life's future hours may hold of earth-born sadness, I know there comes to me in truth a heritage of gladness. it shall be victorious.
And so it shall. Thank you, Shay. We have our wonderful Travis here from California. We're always so pleased when he has time for us. So please welcome Travis. And I'm sorry, I forgot the title of what it was today, but it sounded pretty interesting.
Yes, and I've added something to it. It's not only the always golden path ahead, it's the golden path ahead part one. And first I want to say that the Qigong exercise, the first one, the swinging bells that Steve did, reminded me of an exercise I continue to do today that's of extreme value, taught to me by Durango's legendary chiropractor, Jim Forleo, the spinal twist. Because when you're doing the swinging bells, if you imagine that these are your vertebrae are going back and forth like this. And many of us have so much tension that action, just like if you do this with your hands and hold them tight together, it gets warm between your vertebrae. And Jim Folio explained to me that that warmth will tend to mm, uh, warm the fluids between the vertebrae and allow for more oxygen and nutrient exchange. So you have that going on as well. And so it's all terrific stuff. And thank you, Steve. Um, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I have three stories. That's a departure from my usual format. And I just recently had a remarkable experience that would be a fourth story, but there's not time today, hence the need for a part two down the line. And so I'll be ready whenever called upon to share that. And the first story that I want to share today is this, and it's one that I got from Reverend Dr. Daniel Morgan, who was at Guidance Church, one of the two primary teachers of Michael Beckwith when he was taking practitioner courses and studying to become a minister. And this story went like something like this: that way back when there was a farmer that had a horse that was instrumental in preparing his field for seed and plowing and so on. And there came a furious thunderstorm and it frightened the horse and he ran away. And this was a farmer who didn't have the resources to buy another horse. And so the friends and neighbors talked about how horrible this was, that there's how unfortunate, how, what are you going to do? Very dramatic situation. And it was about 3 days later when this horse had apparently made a lot of friends and came running back in to its corral with some wild horses, and they shut the gate and had all of these horses. And so now the situation was wonderful and a great gift of life to this farmer. And so his son went about the business of starting to break these horses, train them so they could be sold. And in the course of doing that, one day he was thrown from the horse and broke his leg. So now, once again, who's gonna break these horses? This was a terrible uh, event, and and woe is he, and yet all that drama surrounding the situation of this son not being able to help his father there on the farm. Then there became the situation where the kingdom was attacked and was at war. So there were officials that came around to get men young men to recruit them, to enlist them in the army to go and fight in this war. And so now the broken leg was a wonderful development because it kept this man from going to war. And so it goes on and on and on. And so what are we to glean from this account? And that is that we have these labels that come from, of course, our life and our entrenchment in duality and believing in opposites and labeling things. And that falls into the habit of telling stories of bad things that happen over and over again to empower this as these bad things as something that is a matter of belief that I believe in this, and so I tell the story over and over again. And of course, we do that to some extent with the good things. I'm not sure which we tell more in some cases. But I hope you're like me that I'm learning to telling stories of the good things and empowering that is the way to go. But it tells us something deeper. Um, it tells us that these labels are very conditional. For when the horse first ran away, it was terrible. It was tragic. And when the horse came back, that same event of the horse running away was no longer looked upon from the perspective of loss. And so the labels change. So the labeling is conditional. And so, we have all this drama tied up with determining, like what the good and the bad are and these sort of things. And there's a deeper lesson. And the deeper lesson is that what we really want to do is get away from doing this over and over again as events unfold in our lives and understand that we can in our journey back to the Garden of Eden, we can, in that journey, realize that our time spent in believing in duality might come to an end. So we stop doing this and characterizing things and having all those emotions and feelings of bad things happening to us. We can put an end to that because there's something else going on. And I'll get back to what that is in a little while after I tell this next story. And I was thinking I might tell this next story in reverse chronological order. So it starts with I am here today as your guest speaker because way back when I knew Randy and Susan. Way back when I would come back from Russia and be a guest speaker of theirs, at first in Aztec. Way back then. But I was doing that because I knew Randy and Susan from the Durango Church of Religious Science. And that happened because one of my best friends, well, actually his wife, invited me to go with them one Sunday to the Church of Religious Science. And that was my return back to uh, being a churchgoer after having left the Baptist church some 7 years earlier. And, that what happened there as I got involved in that church is that I was muscle tested by Randy on the occasion of the first World Healing Meditation, which we called the World Instant of Cooperation on December 31st of 1986 there at the church. I had worked with this material to promote that event. I had worked with the material so much from UNICEF that it inspired me to think that I wanted to cross bridges or create bridges with the Soviet Union, the most dysfunctional relationship between countries on the face of the earth at the time. And so Randy muscle tested me and said, yes, that's a good idea. You should pursue that. And I ended up being a pioneer of New Thought outreach and eventually United Church of Religious Science outreach in the Soviet Union. And then it broke up and it was Russia. And none of this would have happened if I had not moved to Durango. Now, how did it come to pass that I moved to Durango? I mean, see, this is all just magnificent that I moved there. I got invited to the Church of Religious Science. It's been of benefit to countless numbers of people in the former Soviet Union. I mean, this is just like wonderful stuff. How did I come to Durango? Because a fellow that I met in the Air Force moved there when he got out of the service. And they actually bought that building where, what's their names? Dorothy and John, was it? That had that shop uh, next to the Saturn sandwich shop with Mark Jones upstairs. And they, my friend Dave Norris, his friends bought that building and opened those businesses there. So how did I know Dave Norris? We had both gotten ourselves in trouble in the Air Force. He did that in Texas. I did it in Cheyenne. And they had a brand new program as an alternative to getting a less than honorable discharge. We could volunteer for this program and get ourselves straightened up and get our perspectives adjusted in such a way that we might go back and finish our tours of duty and get honorable discharges. So that's how I met Dave Norris. He was my good friend there, and so so I got in trouble in the Air Force at the time. It was tragic because I was about ready to get a third stripe and be Sergeant Robert Travis. Instead, and I actually, I mean, this gets too long of a story, but the fact was that I was screwed because they had a drug problem on the Air Force Base in Cheyenne. And so the guy that was supposed to be my defender was in cahoots with the prosecution and gave me bad advice that I should sign an Article 15. So that was the trouble I got in, even though I found out later that that was not something I needed to do at all. And so I got my stripes removed and it amounted to in those days, what, 1970, I'm I was dropped like $200 a month in income. And oh my God, this was dramatic, tragic, horrible. And I carried that with me and it was many, many years till I had gone to the Church of Religious Science and began seeing that all these steps along the way were steps along my always glimmering, glittering golden path to what is to be that brought me to this point in time right now. They were all um, stepping stones that needed to be. And I would not have these things any other way. And I am certain that each one of us here today has similar stories uh, about how they got to where we are here and now. So the next story I want to tell was one of the most interesting stories that ever happened to me. And this story is actually arises from the fact that I was very aware of these stepping stones being part of the always golden path ahead. I was teaching one of the accredited classes in science of mind in Sochi, Russia, on the Black Sea. I was also conducting an ongoing um, inner child workshop with the students there in Sochi. But uh, a real pain in the rear end in those days was that I could only get a visa from Ukraine because I would go back and forth. I could only get a visa in Ukraine for 3 months at a time. And yet my Russian visa, as hard as I tried to get a multiple entry visa, they would not give, they were very stingy about giving those out. And so I was needing to go back to Ukraine to maintain my right to travel there and renew my visa. So I needed to leave Russia. And I was very concerned that my double entry visa for Russia, that I was going to use up the entries to Russia that were allowed. And I went to the visa office in Sochi and talked to them. And they assured me, no problem, you can come back. And I was concerned that their prognosis was woefully inadequate, that my experience informed me better than what they were, how they were informed. I held no illusions that with changing policies that might generate memos that would be available to them, that didn't really care enough to be up to date on these policy changes, because it had been the case for a long time when the Soviet Union split up that you could travel freely back and forth and they didn't count those as entries and exits. But that began to change. So I was on the way to Ukraine, and as I exited, I asked the person processing my paperwork as I exited, passport control as I exited Russia. I said, "Can you tell me, will I be allowed back into Russia when I come back from Donetsk?" And and they said, "Oh yeah, yeah, no problem. They'll let you back in." Well, I still had my doubts because their business is processing people going out, not coming in. Maybe I just don't trust these government workers who are woefully uninformed, because the way things were in the former Soviet Union, being informed, there was no benefit to me derived from being informed as a government worker. It was ridiculous. So, okay, now I've got my renewed Ukrainian visa, and my wife and I, Neela, we're on the bus approaching that almost land bridge at the eastern end of the Crimean Peninsula, where at that time, you had to take a ferry to go to Russia. So on the bus, as we're going over the rolling hills and the land narrows toward that port of exit, you know, um, Kerch is the name of it in Ukraine. So I'm doing this prayer. I'm meditating and looking at the rolling hills and thinking about how where I live in Sochi, up high, where I can go outside and look down upon the Black Sea, that I often did that when the sun was going down. And when the sun was going down, as we've seen, if you live near a large body of water that is to the west, when the sun is low, you see like an infinitely varying, glittering path of gold across the water as the sun reflects off of it. And so I use that as a metaphor. I was seeing that and becoming very anchored in the idea that no matter what happens, this is my golden path ahead. It doesn't matter if they turn me away and I have to go all the way back to uh, the Russian embassy in Kiev to get a new Russian visa. It doesn't matter what happens. I embrace the the ultimate absolute truth that now, as always, I am on the golden path ahead. And and this is what Eckhart Tolle talks about when he talks about the minimum uh, uh, relationship with life that you can have is acceptance of what is. So I was accepting what not only what is, but as the coming moments unfold, being anchored in that, I am on my golden path. And so we were approaching the Ukrainian uh, passport control, showed my papers, got on the ferry, went to where the ferry lands at Port Kavkaz in Russia. And Neela says to me, "I'm going to pray." And I said to her in Russian, "It's already done. Уже сделано," already done. And uh, so we got up to the man who looked at my papers, and he says, "We have a problem." And I'm supposed to have class the next night in Sochi. We have a problem. He had me step aside. Now, this was a uh, it was unusual for them to have real foreigners cross in this way on the ferry. It was very uncommon travel route for foreigners. And so they didn't deal with foreigners very much. So what they did was they escorted me to the chief of that passport control station. Now, anywhere else, like an airport or a major train hub, I would never have spoken to such a man. But I was I was escorted, and he was telling me that they couldn't let me into Russia. And I started to tell him I tried to confirm that whether or not I could come back to Russia at passport control in Sochi, and they told me yes, no problem, you can come back. And then I gathered that my account, my stories, were of no interest to him. And then I remembered this is my golden path. I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to make something happen. I don't have to control the circumstances because this is the golden path, whatever happens. And so in front of this man, I think I did what was the key thing in the story. I turned to Neela and said in Russian, I don't want to hold the bus up. There are people wanting to meet trains in Krasnodar, big hub where we were going. So I said, please go get our luggage and so we can release the bus. And then the chief of this station said to me, yeah, I would like you to go with this man and wait in the other room. So I was there 15 minutes. I started doing this prayer again. I am on my golden path, the golden path to what is to be. And I have no preferences. I accept what is. That's my functional relationship with life and therefore with myself. And so what happened is that I was there about 15 minutes. Neela arrived with our luggage, and a few minutes later, a man came down and said, come with me, please. And we began to walk out. We went outdoors and walked across the compound toward this large fence. And the man is saying to me, I don't understand this. This is not according to our laws. And he said, or I said to him in Russian, sometimes it's important to realize that there are laws higher than the ones that man makes. And he took us to a gate and he unlocked it, he opened it, and allowed us passage into Russian territory without proper documentation. I don't know how often that would happen. And like I said, it would not have happened at another major travel point because I would not have talked to a man that had authority to give those instructions to let me into Russia. And we had to flag down a bus to continue down the coast to Sochi, an all-night bus. And we did that, and on the way, I was reflecting on this whole scenario, and I thought, what could have happened? How did this happen? And I thought, when I stopped trying to pursue my own agenda and I thought of others and told Neela to go release the bus by getting our luggage, I think I gave this chief an idea of who I was. And maybe the idea was born that he thought that I was the type of person that he should let into Russia. That Russia could use people that think like this. Something like that. Ultimately, my prayer regarding being on the golden path ahead was one where I release my agenda and allow myself to be a pawn in spirit's enterprise, to fully be itself, to be its beauty, its harmony, its balance, its wisdom, its love, for spirit to like unfold as all of that through me. So I allowed myself to be a pawn in life's game to move me along the golden path to what is to be. It was a great story to tell my students the next night, just as it's a great story to tell you now. That at that time, and this was 1999 or 2000 is my best guess. What a thing to know. That takes the drama out of daily events. Like when I had such a nice car, my 1989 Olds 88, that I got in an accident and wrecked it. And I noticed when that happened, I didn't have the energy around that of the woe is me drama in my head going over around and around. I didn't have that would have been there 20 years earlier. I take things as they come because I know this is the golden path and that the stepping stones are in place for me to be moved along in my upward spiral of who I have yet to be as time passes. And I think that that's something of extreme value to every person, is to get away from labeling things good and bad and know that there is an underlying principle, and that is that I am free in the spirit. And not only that, the spirit is free in me, free to be, because I release agendas and stop trying to make things happen. And that this is the means by which I let God do it. And I know that the only truth is the one truth that we knew before we left the Garden of Eden, simply that God is and I am. And forget the duality, which has gotten not only myself, but the whole global community to where we are now. And so let's all join together and knowing that we're on a golden path and not get caught up, for instance, in the daily news and the drama of what's going on in the world, and just love our planet, love our community, global community, compassion for those who are having tragic experiences by what groups of people do to other groups of people, and just know God is. Life is magnificent because the divine attributes that God is what I am. And that's always going to be true, no matter what's happening out there in the world. God is, I am, and I am on the always golden path ahead. And in this way, we can be presences, each one of us, in a world that is changing and be agents for change. And so it is.
It is. Thank you, Travis. I look forward to hearing the next version of this. And thank you for the reminder of our golden path, because we all know this, but we need to be reminded regularly that all is not bad, and labeling things just invites more bad. So being open to what is going to be coming is, without knowing for sure, we know it's going to be better. We know that it's going to be for our own good. So thank you very much. It was very wonderful talk.
And I want to say I'm just delighted to see on our Zoom screen Reverend Mark Wolf, because I who I so often quote, not only here but elsewhere, even when I'm serving from the platform. I make reference to the fact that he would say at the beginning of the service, "Do I have these words correct? That the universe has but one divine will, and that is to fully express itself at every point in the universe, and you and I and everyone else are one of those points." I love that, and I always think of you.
That is very true. That is very true. And we're blessed to have both of you as regular speakers, and we appreciate your words of wisdom always. So thank you for being with us, and we look forward to next month hearing you talk about this some more. Okay? Does anybody else want to share? I think Steve's going to share.
Thank you for your stories, Travis. They particularly poignant. And the best way I can sum them up is the serenity prayer. You know, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, because the wisdom to know the difference is really that shining path you're talking about. And I think that we might, you know, find that faster if we can give up on the courage sometimes. I mean, the courage is a great thing to initiate our action, but sometimes we got to quit fighting. And I think that's what your stories are telling me. And I appreciate that. I was wondering if Mark has a comment on that.
You're muted, Mark.
There we go. No, this is very nice. This is actually a story from the Talmud, and it goes very much the way that that Travis told it, and very nice, very nice, and a nice quote too. I don't remember saying that, but yeah, okay.
Wow, I'm surprised because I remember that was a way to start services for I, Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. I don't know for how long, but that's why I remember it so well. But yes, thank you very much.
Of all the things we've forgotten. Been there, done that, yes. Anyway, thank you very much, Travis. And thank you very much, Mark, for being here, and Susan for being here. We have a song, number 370 in the Brown Book, Lord Bless This House, by our beautiful Shay Johnson.
Lord, bless this house and bless us all in care and pleasure, great and small. Blessed be the door friends enter by, and windows that let in the sky, and roof above and walls without that shut the world and weather out. Lord, make this house a mansion of abiding loveliness and love, a friendly, comfortable place. Let pleasant talk like firelight grace these rooms, and may friends linger long to join in laughter or a song. Blessed be these rooms for work or play. Oh, let my house be sometimes gay, and sometimes still as candlelight. Be with us, Lord, both day and night, in care and pleasure, great or small. Lord, bless this house and bless us all.
We should always remember that. It's a beautiful song. Thank you. Okay, if you will take your donations in hand and place them over your heart and read along with me. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Unlimited. I am prosperous. And we have no children today. They're still out and about. So we're looking forward to them being back in the fall. Like I said, Bill Clark sends his blessings to us, and thank you, Steve. Our blessings, sends his blessings to us and thanks us for all our prayers for his healing, which he is doing beautifully at home now. And I want to thank you all for being here. And if you'll join me up front, we will sing our way out of here. And I hope you have a wonderful week.
And I want to say before I go that for all of those who share my interest coming up here in a couple hours, I wish you a most pleasurable viewing of the World Cup Championship. So,
Okay,
bye.
thank you.
Yeah, who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for a good game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Weave us together, weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together, weave us together in unity, and yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, family all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Thank you all for being here. Have a blessed week, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you remember Braden?
Yes, yeah, you look familiar, but I haven't seen you in a while, so I'm not good with memory. As the older I get, the less it behaves in my head, but it's nice to see you again. Oh, no, you have a long way to go.
My sometime sidekick.
Okay.
In other words, when I need a kick in the side.
Well, that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
You always need somebody to kick you.
That's right.
At least I do. And somebody who can kick high enough.
See, I can actually do it myself.
Oh, there you go.